President Obama spoke today about the crisis in Japan and then launched into his master plan for controlling energy and gas prices. Apparently, he's feeling pretty good.
Here's the good news. The global community can manage supply disruptions like this. Other oil-producing nations have committed to filling any gaps, and we will continue to coordinate closely with our international partners to keep all options on the table when it comes to any supply disruptions. Here at home, everybody should know that should the situation demand it, we are prepared to tap the significant stockpile of oil that we have in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve.
Really? Not sure how he plans on boosting production without offshore drilling permits and drilling in the Arctic National Wildlife Preserve, ending dependence overseas. Leslie, I want to go to you right away. Earlier in that speech, Mr. Obama said that he was looking for other ways to bring, I guess, the drill. He literally talked about getting more oil out of the ground. Later on, he talks about why we can't drill more, and maybe we should release oil from the SPR, the clip you saw. I'm really confused. Where is he? Is he pro-drilling or anti-drilling?
No one knows.
Well, I honestly can't answer for the president, Eric. But I'll be honest, I can't answer. I can't answer for.
Aren't you the Democratic strategist? Isn't he the Democrat president?
I'm his spokesperson. Yes, I'm his spokesperson. Here's the deal. Yeah, I don't get that paycheck. Here's the deal. We have to reduce our dependency.
No, I don't want to talk about ideology.
Oil,
of course,
period.
We do. But how do we do it, Leslie? How do we do it? Do we drill more now? Drill for our own available resources of oil?
I think that's what the president was speaking to.
No,
it was clear to me. He was saying that.
Fine. Great. I hate to cut you off. I want to stop you right there. David, he did. He said we need to drill more, right?
Yeah,
but then he fights a federal court order to release permits.
Right. This is the problem. It's all talk. It's all action.
Wait a minute.
No action.
He has given over 30
Do you mind if I finish? Do you mind if I finish? Okay.
Well, you don't want the facts.
A half-truth is not an energy plan. You can't talk about the need to drill and the need to move domestic production up if you don't actually have the mechanism to affect that domestic production. Versus you don't sue the very need to release that access.
I have to know why you're holding the position.
Here's the other half-truth. He says domestic production is at its highest point ever, but a false comparison is not.
Wait a minute.
A comparison.
I think Obama, against my better principles, has issued 30-some not such deep water, whatever, shallow water permits, and one deep water permit that he issued this week. His administration. What are you talking about?
$2 billion to Brazil for 10,000 feet and higher drilling,
please,
and we don't do it here. Don't give me that.
Some talking points that are completely false and wrong.
They're not false and wrong.
In 1 year, nearly 1 year since the BP disaster, there has been one permit issued, and was issued only because a federal court ordered him to issue it. And then now, Artie, he's appealing that order. He doesn't want to issue the deep water drilling.
And I don't know why. In other words...
I do.
Okay.
Why?
Let's call the Gulf Coast of...
Okay, but there was a mistake. Look, that was a horrible... Yes, it was a mistake. It was a tragedy. Everyone who crashes a car, should we ban cars? Every time there's a train accident, should we ban trains? I mean, it was a horrible mistake. Look, if there's anything I've learned from you, Eric, no, seriously, with your deep knowledge of oil, is the dependency of this country on it. And if, God forbid, what you said, if the Saudis fall and it goes to $180
a barrel... We have to have a diversified approach to energy.
And
I think we need to drill. I want to answer all the questions.
I need my lawyer.
And Obama's making inconsistent statements.
I need my Kimmy G lawyer.
I'm here.
Obama says no deep water drilling. The court says lift that moratorium. You're obligated to do it.
You're obligated. You're in violation of the law.
You're in violation. He says fine. He lifts it, but then he doesn't actually permit anybody.
Execute.
The court comes back and says you're violating the law. Again.
You guys
this is where we are.
You guys are worried about the next generation with Social Security?
Please, go.
Alan, what are you talking about?
Wait a minute.
About energy right now.
We're talking about
President Obama flagrantly thumbing his nose at the judge's order, okay, to issue these permits and to resume the drilling. And he's just not doing it. So he's going to be held in contempt. He's going to violate the law. Again, that's your guy.
Well, is it fair for 200 years of people to use all of our natural resources?
I want to interject a few numbers that matter.
Doing that.
These rigs in the Gulf cost about $1.3 million a day to operate, just sit in there. When he issued the moratorium, they moved. When they move on contracts. They don't come back when he lifts it the next day. And they're on a minimum of 5 to 7 year contracts for the most part in other parts of the world. So how can we get off it? How do you affect the policy matters?
Let's talk about gasoline prices. The other night, I went toe-to-toe with Sal Risavalido on My 9 News in New Jersey with Harry Martin. Sal is the executive director of the New Jersey Gasoline, C-Store, and Automotive Association, basically mom-and-pop gas stations. The subject, your pain at the pump. Take a look.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm sure you've heard this. As soon as the price of oil goes up, it seems like 3 seconds later, I'm paying more at the pumps. That doesn't seem fair to me. Why does that happen?
As these retailers, as the mom and pops on the corner, as they sell gasoline, they have to replace the gasoline. Those tanks hold somewhere between 20 and 40,000 gallons. When that works through the system, they have to replace it with higher priced gasoline. You know, you look at the national average for gasoline, it's $3.52 a gallon. Today alone, it went up 7 cents in the world oil markets. That's not reported. What's reported is the pump price. So they're replacing it with much higher priced gasoline.
Okay, but is it fair? It doesn't seem like it's fair right away that it should happen.
If a retailer replenishes his inventory with higher priced product, why shouldn't he sell it at the higher price that reflects
that's fair enough. That makes perfect sense to me. But here's what else happens. When the price of oil goes down, it seems the gasoline prices don't come down right away. They stay up there for quite a while. And I heard an oil executive say just the other day that that's where gasoline retailers really make their money.
You're 1,000% right. On the way up, they move up very quickly. On the way down, they go slow. And what happens is, as the oil price goes down, they're making a fatter and fatter margin. You really need to keep your eye on that. They could be gouging on the way down. They rarely gouge on the way up. On the way down is when they're gouging, when no one's looking, when everyone's happy,
let's stop
prices
right
are
there.
going down.
The word gouging is totally unfair because
it's not unfair. It
is not unfair because if they are making 10 cents a gallon on the way up and they wind up making 12 or 13 cents on the way down.
No, that's not gouging. But what happens when they're making 50 or 60 or 70 cents on the way down? That's when it's gouging. But we don't know that because we're just happy it's going down.
I will challenge you to find me locations that are making 30 cents a gallon.
All over the country.
And they are not making 30 cents a gallon.
Let me tell you
something. Most of the time, retailers are making 2 to 10 cents a gallon. And if they have an opportunity to grab a little extra margin as it's coming down, then they should be able to do that. But they are not gouging.
Hang on, I'm going to ask you one at a time, guys. One at a time.
It is extremely unfair.
Why should they be able to do that? Why should they be able to do that on the way down? That does not seem fair.
Well, because on the way up, they're getting squeezed even more, and it equals out in the end. To use the word gouging is absolutely unfair. Gouging would be when the consumer doesn't have a choice and all of a sudden may be paying 5 or 10 times more than he was before he no longer had the choice.
Eric, I'm going to have to let you have the last word here. We've got to wrap.
Very quickly, what Sal's not telling you, there are a lot of dealers out there that may have 10 or 15 gas stations in the same community. He may keep his price up for everyone in the same community, and you don't even realize it, but you're actually being gouged, and you should keep your eye on it. Go into that gas station and say, I'm going to report you're 12 or 15 or 20 cents higher than down the block.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you very much. We're out of time. Eric, Sal, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
And then again, Leslie, the Obama says, you know what, maybe we'll release some oil from the SPR, which will have zero effect on the price of gasoline. Go ahead.
Well, one of the things we do have, Eric, is the power as consumers. Why you had mentioned reporting somebody, well, that's all well and good, but we can also get in our car, drive down the street, and give the business to the person that we don't perceive as gouging. And why is it only with gasoline prices, with oil, that we complain about this? What's the markup on anything that we buy in a retail establishment? I mean, whether it be food or clothing or other necessities that we use every day.
Dave, go ahead.
For a simple reason, the first thing people react to is oil. Recent study released about commuting in the New York metro area, up 11% across all time for everybody. That's more time on the road. That's more gas being bought, more gas being spent.
And less money to spend on other things that you need as a family, and food and other bills that you need to pay.
The commodities next.
Yeah.
We have the commodities next, which is
the food. You're sounding like a socialist.
Hold on, guys. Give me the full screen. Go ahead. Pay at the pump. Here it is. I'm going to show you guys. I'll do this again.
Do it again.
When Mr. Obama was elected, when he was sworn in January 20th, 09. Look at the price, Ellen. $1.83 a gallon. Here we are today, $3.54 a gallon. You tell me where 93.4% rise in the price of gasoline on his watch.
Are you going to run that for Mr. Bush and the Iraq war and everything?
Thank you.
What do you? Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh,
Let's talk about it.
Let's
talk about it. You want to talk about the average price? Absolutely. Let's do that.
I'm saying that Mr. Bush's prices, I think I repaid about $4 a gallon under Mr. Bush.
So let me get this straight, Leslie. You're chiming in there, but you're saying absolutely. Obama took office January 20th. It was $1.83. I think he took the ball, the handoff from President Bush. Here's your ball, $1.83. And what did he do? He turned it into a 94% increase.
Wow.
Well, maybe a 94% increase, Eric, but here in California, I never saw $1.83, and I've lived here since 1999.
Oh. National average. Your California number was included
here in California, I have paid currently almost as high as $4 a gallon just recently with the crisis in the Middle East. And during the Bush administration, and that's why I'm agreeing with Ellen, I was paying that same price. So I don't understand why the sky is falling when Obama's in office when the same thing was happening when Bush was in office.
You're right. We shouldn't
California's
complain.
the aberration also because of the tax structure.
Eric,
New Jersey is the exact opposite. It always has one of the cheapest prices.
Doesn't history show when the president touches those reserves, it sends the price of oil going even higher because everyone gets
scared? Tapping the reserves, it's only been done 3 times. One is to sell down, to pay down debt.
Right.
The other 2 emergencies. Neither time it actually
but let's talk
small
about
dip and then a big rally.
Let's talk about the OPEC cartel, which is what it is. They are a monopoly. They rigged this game. Saudi, the largest exporter as a whole. They are playing a game, and we are in a weak position to even affect.
We have no leverage.
No, we actually have no leverage.
No leverage.
Right.
Alternative energy, my friends.
Oh, here we
Why aren't we developing?
Or drill, baby, drill.
On your car,
drill, baby, drill.
No, we do not have plenty of oil. We don't have plenty of oil.
We have enough for the next 200 years. Is that
well? And you think we ought to use up the world's oil? That 4 generations ought to use up, or 5 generations ought to use up the world's oil?
Nobody's saying that. No one's saying
talk
that.
about again Social Security and going on, but we're using up a valuable resource.
They just found up to 500 billion barrels of reserves in the Bakken Basin near Montana and North Dakota.
Yes, they did. I'm very familiar.
There's a good chance we'll find more oil in the next 200 years as well.
And you have to use a fracking process to get it. It's not.
That's with gas. You got to get your technology straight.
By the way,
one of the other things we can do with energy, when Reagan deregulated the price of natural gas, we saw a market, the free market work, and the price went way down.
There you go, Ellen.
If we were to do that with natural gas today, get regulation out of the way, we would make it cheaper, and we have so much natural gas.
No, it's true. She's always against the free market, and it works.
We gotta go. We have more.